Hearing all of that, I went there. Tell me why. In my first sorority party, I was king. Put my hands. I said, what? I was like, no, thank you.
When I collect my wages, I'm gonna spend it on you. Girl, you must have my babies, and they must look like you. This all love, it ain't changing, just you are beautiful.
Hello everybody, my name is Zusi, aka That Business Baddie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 6 things. I don't know what I'm gonna need, but that was very American. I do not know what I'm going to label this. Like, I don't know what this title is going to be, but provisionally it's 6 things I wish I knew before going to college in the USA as a Brit. Now that's long, so I don't know how I'm gonna cut that, but you know what I mean. So essentially I'm going to be talking about my experience as a British person in the US of A, and not just as a British person, but as a British Nigerian, as a Black British person, because I feel like that experience is also different. Before I launch in, I also want to give you like a line of like my educational experience.
I was born in Tottenham. Did a couple years in Houston. Then I went to Lagos. I went to Lagos Prep, and I think it was a CIS, yeah. And then came to London. I went to Enunciation RC Junior School. Oh god. I went to where else did I go? St. Martin's. And then I went back to Lagos. I went to Greenwood House School. Then I went to Loyola Basic College. Hi God, look at me, I'm exposing myself today. I went to Loyola Basic College. From there, I went to the Mount School in North West London, and then I went to North London Collegiate School for Girls. And now I'm at Columbia. So yeah, that's been my like educational history. So I'm speaking from a British perspective, but I'm also largely speaking from a Nigerian perspective.
So the 6 things I'm going to be talking about today. Number 1 is, I'm reading off my phone. Number 1 is the application process. Number 2 is the food. Number 3 is the party scene. Number 4 is getting a job. And number 5 is feeling like an alien. Number 6 is the lingo, the slang. So let's get right into it. So number 1, the application process. I found that as soon as I launched my channel, the first video I made just mentioning that I go to college in the US, I got a lot of people DMing me on Instagram about, Zusi, what is your experience like going to college in the US? Like, what are the pros and cons? So I just thought I'm gonna make a whole long video on life in the US, all of that, but this is kind of just 6 things I wish I knew. But the first thing is the application process. That was the number 1 question. People were like, how do you apply? Can you help me apply? They were like, I can't wait for you to post tips on application. And I was like, I guess I have to do that now. We're gonna make a video about the application process to the US, just that. But number 1, yes, the application process is so different. For everyone in the UK, you're familiar with the UCAS system. And UCAS points are very different from the common application, very different. So in terms of how I applied to the US, I sent essays, college essays to every single university. On top of that, I'm going to say university and college interchangeably. Every single US college I sent college essays to, and some of them also had supplement questions. I did both the SAT and the ACT. ACT was a flop. I'll break it down whether you should do the SAT or ACT, but ACT was a flop, so I went with my SAT scores. And yeah, so that was a completely different process. I feel like in the UK, they're looking for more you to demonstrate your academic prowess, whereas with the US they're more interested in you as a holistic human being. So really in my essay, like, I was really just talking about, you know, when I was a 10-year-old girl, this was my, and that's what they want to know more about you. Yeah, the application process is very different, but I would not discourage anyone from applying to the US. I did both US and UK applications at the same time. I didn't apply early, so I did regular application, and yeah, I don't think it was too hard. It was a little bit of a challenge. It took some time management, but I think it was a good application process. I prefer the US application process to the UK application process. I thought the UK application process was a little shallow. I don't know. Anyhow, so yeah, the application process was mad. Number 2, I wish someone told me before going to the US, the food, the food is completely different. Not only are the portions, wow, like twice the size of UK portions, but just the way everything is set out is just completely different. Their seasoning is different. It was just a different experience for me. The first time I landed, when I went to high school program in Colombia, when I must have been 14, 15, I was like looking for the closest Nando's. I was like, I want some very chicken now. Come to find out, there's no Nando's in New York. There might be one now, I don't know, but there's no Nando's in New York. So I really struggled with that. There was no Nando's. There's like 1 or 2 Wagamamas, and I'm a Wagamama stan. So it's just the food, the restaurants are completely different. So you really have to grow accustomed to their food, their portions. I found myself in restaurants I had never heard of, things that you hear about on TV and American interviews, but things I'd never heard of. But it's very different. Tried Popeyes. Popeyes was a very interesting experience. They have these, I forgot what they call them, but they're basically scones, but they call them something different. I don't know what they call them, biscuits. And it was just mad. It was a completely different culinary experience. So just be prepared for that. Be prepared for food being completely different. So number 3, the party scene. I wish someone told me about the party scene in the US. Listen, I am used to hearing came in a black Benz, left in a white one in the parties. I'm used to hearing some crying, a 1-2 Afrobeat track, yeah. Like, I'm used to hearing all of that. I went there, tell me why. In my first sorority party, I was hearing, put my hands. I said, what? I was like, no thank you, please. Not all parties are like that, I'm gonna tell you that straight up, but not all parties are like that. But it was just a big shock to my system in the first week. It was like I was either hearing, put my hands up, I was hearing, oh shit, I was like, no, not me, not I, this is not for me. But what in the first few weeks, like what you think is a typical party scene is like, I'd say non-black Greek organizations. So just the campus Greek organizations were very, I don't know, they were just not for me. Like in movies when you see people like lying down and chugging the thing and everybody's like chug, like it's not a joke, like that actually happens. And it was mad to me. It was a little different, it was a little strange, but you know, you learn to have fun, you learn what is for you, the spots that are for you. I know the parties I go to in Colombia, so places where I can hear some Afrobeat music, where I can hear some bashment, where I can hear some, you know, maybe J Hus just pops in surprisingly. You don't hear any grime in the US. There's no grime, there's no drill. So maybe just if you hear it once, I'm in those spaces where I could possibly hear the music I'm interested in. But yeah, so the party scenes are completely different. Also to do with the party scenes, in the UK, obviously it's drinking, what's the drinking? I don't drink, so I don't know. Drinking age, I believe, is 18 in the UK. In the US, it's 21 plus. I don't drink, so that doesn't really affect me, but what it more is you have to find different spots because all the bars, all the venues, all the, you know, all the big parties are 21 plus. So the party experience, whilst in the UK, you can just kind of go clubbing with your friends and that's it. It's a very different process. And so yeah, you kind of have to find your own party group, and that's where we are. But other than that, I'm in my room. Number 4 is getting a job. So I am on an F1 visa in the US. Why did I struggle with that? F1 visa in the US. So for me, I can't get a job. I can't. Unless it's an on-campus job, I can't get a job. But my best friend recently tried to get a campus job, and you have to get a social security number. It's a long process going back and forth with the international student offices, trying to get a social security number. They can't pay you until you have a social security number. And the social security number is long to get, like it's actually long. So it's just very difficult. And they won't, most of the time, campus jobs won't even give you a job because you're an international student, and it's a way more complicated process. So getting a job as an international student in the US is a little tricky, it's a little challenging, but I will do a video on ways you can kind of stay afloat, ways you can get jobs in the US as an international. Yes, that's a little tricky. You can also kind of Setting up businesses is also tricky because technically that's a job as well. So what I found is ways to get passive income from things I've set up in the UK, and it's kind of just my family will send me money from my UK account, or if I can directly send it from my UK account to my US account, and that's kind of the better way. So number 5 is so real, and you know, I can joke about it all I like, but it's actually such a real thing. You will feel at some points like an alien. I feel there was a song. It was like, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien, I'm an Englishman in New York. Yeah, so that is real. That is actually real. I feel like when I first was gonna go, I was gassed. I was excited because I was like, oh, I'm British. Everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, she's British. Her accent. This is my American accent for you. So they're gonna be like, oh, your accent, da, da, da. But at some points, it's actually like, you want them to forget. So it's like you'll be talking, like sometimes I'll be talking in class and people will turn and just look at me like, oh, she's British. I'm like, I just spoke for like 30 seconds and I was making sense, but no one is listening to you because all they're paying attention to is the fact that you have a completely different accent. So at some points that kind of gets in the way of conversations and gets in the way of communication. There'll be those moments where kind of you'll say something, like I'll say something like aluminium, and they're like, oh no, it's aluminum. And suddenly everyone's like kikiing at you because you said aluminium. And you're just a bit like, oh, I've never experienced this before. You feel a little different and you're very aware of that difference. At first I was gassed, but yeah, that became tricky as time went on. On top of that, it's like, what I forgot is that they actually speak a completely different English. Like their English. Also, I just want to mention, I don't know my sister, this is my sister's little NFL jersey. I don't know who this is. I don't know what I'm wearing. This could be Arsenal equivalent for all I know. And I have no clue. I just know it says number 1 and that's my favorite. Has my favorite color, so I wore it. Yeah, so what I forgot is they can speak American-ish, like it's not English, like it's a completely different English. So what I didn't realize is some teachers make me write in American spelling and grammar, and that's something I never considered. So if you are going to the US, maybe consider getting familiar. You will naturally, if you're writing the SAT or ACT, learn a little more about American English spelling and grammar. But really like get familiar with it, because when you are writing essays, my teachers, I'll spell color C-O-L-O-U-R, period. Like that's how you spell color. And they'll be like, no. I'm like, what? So they will literally go around circling all the English spellings in my essays. And I'll be like, what do you want me to do? Like I grew up learning English the right way. Sorry, that was tea, that was shade. But yeah, so you have to get familiar with American English if you are going to college in the US. Another thing about being an alien is, I'm gonna touch on this slightly because I don't really want to get into this because this is deeper than I could possibly articulate in this video. But racism as it is in the US and the UK are very different experiences. So that's something I wasn't really kind of ready for, or like you see it on the news, you see it in shows, you see it, but the lived experience is completely different. It's kind of frightening to walk around the streets and see police officers with like guns, like, you know, like movie guns. I'm like
scared here. A lot of people will be scared.
I don't know if this counts in the alien section, but just, the transportation system, different. I've not stepped into a bus in New York once. Why? Because I'm scared of rats. I'm scared of rats, and I feel like the subway system, there are rats, like, and these rats are no joke. Like they're actually not a joke. Like they are human rats. Like it's the kind of rat that if you're walking, it will look at you and be like, where are you going? Like you're in my way. It's that they are one. Like I don't know if I can put up a picture. That's actually disrespectful. But like they are big, like maybe. Like maybe that long, genuinely that long, 2 fists long, and I'm used to seeing tiny little, if anything, at Tottenham Court Road. And number 6 is the lingo, the slang. I feel, God. Number 6 is the lingo, the slang. I feel like I really underestimated how big of a problem this would be. Because for me, I feel like the way I communicate with my friends in London is just I intertwine normal English with slang. And I never realized I did it until I went to the US, and it's like you say something like things that you use in everyday slang English, that's not a thing. Everyday slang English, like, oh, I want to go to the corner shop, or, you know, they call corner shop, most of their corner shops are delis. So it's like, I don't know, there's some things that you would just throw away words that I never expected to be different. And also flipping the coin, like some things they would say, I'm legit like, yo, what are you saying? Like the first time I went to New York, and one of my friends was like, oh, it's brick. I was like, brick? I was like, what? And that just means like, oh, like it's very cold. And it's just little nuances that I never expected to encounter. But yeah, just to kind of wrap it all up, my experience in New York at Columbia is definitely a positive one. Like I just thank God for the opportunity to be able to go to Columbia. It is such a blessing. But at the same time, if you are thinking of going to the States, be aware that there are a lot of differences in just lifestyle, in communication, in school, that you will be shocked by. I don't know if I'm gonna quickly throw this in there. Let me quickly throw this in there. I didn't think of this earlier. This is gonna change the number of points I have. But yeah, academics is completely different. Like we are not familiar with the GPA system. We are not familiar with, they took AP exams that got them credits that can help them, you know, like credit out of certain classes, which essentially means they don't have to take certain classes because they did an exam for it. And it's like, we don't really have that. They try and accommodate by qualifying some of your A-levels and pre-U exams to give you credits, but not a lot of them can convert because it's just not the same system. Also adjust to their grading system. Like in the UK, grading is much harder. I don't know how to explain this. Grading is much harder. So getting an 80% in the UK is like, oh yeah, like I got an 80%. I mean, it's not, oh yeah, but it's like, I got an 80%, like that's decent. But in the US, an 80% is a bad thing. So like when people would be like, oh, I got an 80%, I'm so upset. Me, I'm looking at my 80%, I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was a bad thing. So because grading was so hard, what our percentage equivalents are very different for them. I don't know if I explained that very well. Friends, hit me up if you're interested in applying to the US. I will definitely help you with common applications, with essays, with interview prep, all of that. I will be posting a lot of content on my channel, so I'm so sorry if I tell you, oh, I'm making a video about that, because a lot of people do ask me, and it's just easier to kind of put out content that everybody can watch. If you have any further questions though, make sure to hit me up. My socials will be on the screen. Feel free. I love helping people with US applications because I understand how much of a struggle it was for me. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. If you learned anything new today. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.
An ugly skirt. But otherwise, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button, put the thumbs up, turn on post notification gang to be entered in the giveaway, and we're out.
No, you're not out anywhere. Stay there.
I am. You're meant to put the to do this, yeah.
Okay.
Can you edit that to make your finger come earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Oh, Lord Jesus.